Hey everyone, it is Gills with the Power Talk. As K-State moves on over Arizona State 71-66 to open up the Big 12 championship. K-State will face off against Baylor, same time, 6 p.m. on Wednesday, as it's going to be a quick turnaround. Less than 24 hours from now, K-State will be finishing up that game against the Bears. So while we can talk about how K-State won this game and some of the positives that we saw from the Wildcats, in that locker room, I don't think they're going to dwell on this one for a second. You've got a very quick, like I said, very quick turnaround against the Bears, team that K-State lost to in Waco. And Kansas State didn't necessarily dominate Arizona State, but did enough to win this game. And, it's March. You got to survive in advance. K-State was able to do that here on Tuesday. Real quick, leave a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button if you're not doing so already. We appreciate that very much and helps us reach more K-Staters. But from the get-go, man, Kansas State ultimately won this game before the first media timeout. Going up by double digits, the Cats hit 5 3-pointers before the first media break. That's really where Kansas State won this game. And from there on out, it was kind of an even game. I think Arizona State outscored the Cats by a couple from that point on. So if Kansas State doesn't put its foot on the gas from the opening tip and take advantage of kind of the rest and the energy that it had, it doesn't win the game. Number of players mentioned that in the locker room, just kind of the rest, right? And it was nice to have a couple days off here before this game. And, obviously it goes without saying here at T-Mobile, a lot of purple. And I wouldn't say that made the difference, but Arizona State had nothing to feed off of in terms of atmosphere. Kansas State was able to use what it had here in a venue that it had already played in before against Drake. I know a game that it lost, but a much better venue, right? You've been here before. You've got more people behind your back. K-State was able to use that from the opening tip and set the stage for a win. Coleman Hawkins in this game was freaking awesome. 26 points. 3 of those 3-pointers before the first media timeout were from Hawkins. So he was great. He's certainly stepped it up, and you're looking at a guy that could have easily shut things down. All right, let's look at the professional career that I have ahead of me. Not Coleman. No, Coleman's focusing on winning 5 games in 5 days, as is everybody else here in the locker room. And you got to take it one game at a time, obviously. But Coleman was the forefront of this win for Kansas State. I'm not sure if K-State comes out on top if Coleman Hawkins doesn't maybe take over the way that he did. And I know Doug McDaniel got downhill a lot in the second half. But by and large, man, David Gasson was in foul trouble. Brendan Hazen wasn't maybe the lethal sharpshooter that he could be. Coleman Hawkins was the MVP of this game, 100% without a doubt. As K-State does move on, I think if you want to be critical and if you want to get maybe a little nitpicky, you would have liked to have seen Jerome Tang's team just go out and dominate, right? Go out and hit 15 3-pointers. Go out and just bully your opponent. A win's a win, I get it. But if you want to truly get hot and you want to truly make a run, I think you've got to play much differently against Baylor than you did tonight. The way you played in the first 4 minutes, 5 minutes, that needs to be the way that you play for a full, maybe not full 40, but 30, 35 minutes against Baylor, because that's what's going to carry into games, right? That's going to give you that momentum that you truly need to go on a run, not just win one game, right, but win a number of games. Is obviously that's what Kansas State's goal is. Next up is Baylor, like we said, 6 p.m. on Wednesday, another one on ESPN Plus. And obviously, like I said, a lot of purple here at T-Mobile, but still plenty of empty seats. I'm sure you can get out here. Always a lot of fun here in Kansas City. I'll have all the coverage coming your way as the Cats look to go for its second win here in Kansas City.